Hello and welcome back to the Bliss Bean. I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently dumb phones are a trend now. So you can buy a phone that is specifically designed to be dumb in that it only has the most basic features of a phone and nothing else. Or some people are also taking their smartphones and like hacking them in little ways to make them dumber. I think there's a spectrum of approaches. You don't have to carry a brick for a phone, but you also don't have to just let your phone have complete control over you and your attention. My phone is a smartphone, but I am smarter. And so I found a bunch of little tricks to make it less distracting and more productive. So today I'm gonna share those with you. I also just wanna give you a tour through all of the apps and widgets that I have on my phone because I think it's really fun to snoop other people's phones. Before we start though, I just wanna mention that a huge thing that has helped me use my phone less is getting my Apple Watch. I know it seems a little counterintuitive that adding another device to your life would make you use devices less overall, but in this video I explain how that math adds up. But this video is about phones, so that's what we'll focus on. So I think the most important thing you want to do is add friction to how you use your phone, because the main selling points of these things are how all of the features are just at your fingertips, but that's also what makes them addicting. So we want to make them a little more difficult and annoying to use. So first of all, delete any apps that you don't really need to access from your phone. So for me, for example, I just started an internship and I'm much more like career oriented now. So LinkedIn has been very addicting to me. It is a useful professional networking tool, but it is also addicting and very scrollable. I definitely never need to make a Dear Network post so urgently that I can't wait until I'm back at my desk at my computer to do it. Same thing for Pinterest. It is a super useful tool for collecting inspiration. I like to use it to find ideas for things to build in Minecraft, but it's also so attention sucking and I always find myself going to it to scroll if it's on my phone. And then if you do decide to keep an app on your phone that is a little distracting, at least make it difficult to access. So the obvious way to do that is to take it off your home screen because your thumb has that muscle memory to find those addicting apps, and you might find yourself opening like Instagram without even realizing consciously that you did it. Then also, if you're on an iPhone, I'm not sure how it is on other phones, but on iPhone you can disable spotlight search. So I disabled that for Instagram. I can't search for it that way. I have to swipe to the right, get to the app library and find it there. And then finally, you gotta bring out the big guns and get something that will actually block you from using apps. I really like using an app called 1sec. It basically either makes you wait before you access one of those distracting apps, or it has you do little challenges. So sometimes you can set it so that you have to spin around your phone a certain number of times, which just makes you look really weird in public. There's also one where you like follow around a dot on the screen with your finger, and you can set it to different lengths. If I have to follow that dot with my finger for like 30 seconds, a lot of times I just give up and I decide that accessing Instagram actually is not worth it. It is really, really effective in my opinion. And then there are a few things that you can do to your whole phone that aren't app specific. One thing that I recommend to everyone is turning on grayscale mode. So if you're on iPhone, you just go to accessibility, display and text size. Then you go to color filters, you turn that on and you select the grayscale one. I used to have this programmed as a triple click home button shortcut, but I found that made it too easy to turn off. Now what I have to do is swipe down and search color filters, and then you can toggle it from there. And then if by any chance you are learning another language right now, you could set your phone to that language. This is kind of for language learning purposes, but honestly, I think you'll just pick up like a few vocabulary words. The main reason to do this is just that it makes your phone frustrating to use, and we are trying to create frustration. All right, so that concludes the section of the video where we talk about hacking your phone to make it a little less distracting. Now we are going to do a tour of my phone. This is the iPhone 12 Pro. I forgot the brand of the case, but I'll find it and I'll put it in the description. In the past, I think I've usually upgraded my phones about every 4 years. I am definitely not a believer in upgrading your phone every year. I think there's absolutely no reason for that, especially because because the iPhones have not been changing. So I went from an iPhone 8 to an iPhone 12, and that was a huge difference. Now they're on 15, and there's barely any difference from what I have right now. So I could see myself using this for like at least 2 more years. So let's begin with the home screen. This is an honor. For an app to make it onto the home screen, it not only has to be really useful, but not distracting at all. It's a high bar. Down in the dock, I have Now Then Pro, which is my time tracking app. I talked all about time tracking in this video, how to stop procrastinating. It basically just means tracking how much time you spend on different activities. Productive Habits is a nice habit tracking app. I'm not gonna lie to you, this summer my habits have been a mess. I did put on sunscreen and take my vitamins though, so I will check those off. And then finally, because I am an influencer, I need to have the Photos app and the Camera app right front and center. In the top left, I have Spotify. I want easy access to that because although I don't like listening to music when I'm working, almost everything else, cooking, eating, cleaning, walking, I am listening either to music or to podcasts. I love it. I probably do it too much. I need to give my brain a break. In the top right, I have a widget stack, which is where you can put widgets on top of one another and then scroll through them like this, which is nice because it saves space. So this is my little health corner where I have my Apple activity rings. I have this fitness app that I absolutely love called Gentler Streak. As the name implies, it's sort of like a gentler approach to exercise. The goal here is to stay inside of this activity range. Then I have my sleep data from the health app, and this is a period tracker called Stardust, which I've only been using for a couple of months, but I really like it because it explains like all of your hormone levels throughout the cycle, and it also has some interesting tips on how you're going to be feeling mentally and physically, and what you should be eating, how you should be exercising, etc. at different stages of your cycle. WhatsApp, Notes, Google Maps, Clock, Gmail, these are all super self-explanatory. New York Times games, I absolutely love. I play the Wordle, the Daily Mini Crossword, and Connections every single day. The daily crossword, like the big full crossword, I used to do that every day. Now I do it less frequently, but in general, the New York Times games are one of the only entertainment subscriptions that I pay for. Notion, you have definitely heard about what Notion is. I have a video that's a full Notion tour where you can see my entire complicated setup, but on my phone, I usually use Notion just to check my shopping list, to find a workout that I saved, or to find a recipe. Portal is a white noise app, so like I said, I don't like listening to music when I'm working. So when I'm working, I always put in my AirPods, set them to noise cancellation, and then I listen to one of these free soundscapes that they have. I usually prefer this to regular white noise, which is just like psh. I like having a little bit of texture to the sound. Day one is my journaling app. There are few apps that I have been as loyal to as this one. So I wrote my first journal entry on August 16th, 2020. It's been 3 years and 10 months. So I have over 1,500 entries in my daily journal at this point because this is the best journaling app that you can find. So basically you can create a blank journal entry, or you can create your own custom templates, which I have done a lot of. They also have some pre-made templates that you can use if you need some inspiration. It adds your time, location, and the weather automatically, and then you can add photos and videos, audio clips, etc. So this has been one of the most rewarding habits that I have ever stuck to because I can now scroll through 3 years of journal entries. I can look at this gallery view, I can see where I've been on a map, I can click any day on the calendar and see what my life was like then. I usually journal on my computer because I just type much faster that way. But in my video about how I journal exactly, I talked about how I really never want to grow to hate the habit of journaling. So if there is any day when I'm really tired and I don't feel like writing a long entry, then I also have the app on my phone so that I can just get into bed and type out a quick entry that way. The important thing is just to keep the habit going. So that's probably my favorite feature, is that it syncs so easily and seamlessly across devices. But importantly, importantly, it also has end-to-end encryption, which means that even as it is syncing across devices, your information is really secure, which is important for me because I write about everything in those entries. So there's a lot of private information, but I feel very, very confident and safe putting it there, much more so than when I used to write in a paper journal, and I would always worry about not hiding it well enough or losing it and it falling into someone else's hands. I'm always looking at this on this day feature where you can see where you were and what you were doing on this day a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. A year ago, I was traveling in Taiwan, which is crazy. So thank you to Day One for sponsoring this video. Go get yourself a 2-month free trial of Day One Premium by going to dayoneapp.com/blissbean. So in 2 months, you can really establish a journaling habit and see if you like it. I think you will really like it, but it is up to you to try. That's dayoneapp.com/blissbean. Okay, so then continuing on with my home screen, Life 360 is an app for sharing your location with loved ones. Gotta stay safe. Ventra is the official Chicago Metro app because I'm doing a summer internship there. But I am also trying this other app called Transit, which some people say is more accurate with its departure times. So we'll see. And Interval Timer is a really nice and simple timer for HIIT workouts. To the left of my main screen, I have big widgets for the weather and for my calendar. My last home screen just has a big widget for Tweak, which is this really amazing and simple to-do list app that I did a whole video about. And that third home screen that I skipped over is like a long distance relationship home screen. We have a time zone app. Obimi is a cute app where you can share your emotion with the other person, and you can also send them little actions like a hug, or you can throw a tomato at them if the relationship is currently going through a little rough patch. Locket is an app where you can take photos to send to each other, and then it will appear in the widget on the other person's home screen. So it's like having a locket necklace that has a photo in it, except digital and updated. And finally, we have a countdown timer for when we will next see each other, which is in 66 days. Then if you swipe all the way to the left, you have some more space for extra widgets. So I really like this battery one that just tells you at a glance how much charge all of your devices have. I think I have to open the AirPods case for it to register. Yeah, there you go. This one is new. This is an Outlook calendar widget to see what's coming up for my internship. Today is Sunday, so there's nothing. But in my internship, I've been learning a lot about Outlook and Teams and all of that corporate stuff. I told you about the On This Day feature on day one. So this is a widget that you can do that will show you the photos from those entries exactly a year ago, 2 years ago, etc. Finally, I have a few honorable app mentions that did not make it onto any home screens, but I still think they are nice apps. So Agape is a relationship wellness app where you and your partner answer a daily question, and you can't see their answer until you've submitted yours. So they have this whole question library with different categories of questions. If you are like stuck at an airport or something, or just hanging out with other people in real life and you want to play something, I really like 2-player games. Me and my brother play this a lot. It's exactly what it sounds like. And Wavelength is a really fun like party game, which it's kind of hard to describe, but it basically just sparks some really funny conversations. Stats FM, it basically tells you really cool statistics about your Spotify listening habits, way more than you find out in your Spotify Wrap. Maybe you have like a favorite song and you want to see what was the first time that you ever listened to it. There you go. You can find that out. Libby is like an online library app. I don't know if it works outside of the US, but in the US at least, you can sign in with your library card and check out ebooks to read either inside the Libby app, or you can even send them to your Kindle, which is just amazing. The last thing that I wanted to mention in this video is something called the mere presence effect. I bring this up in a lot of my videos, but basically there was a study done that found that even when your phone is merely present, like it's just sitting on your desk, it's not making any noise, it's not showing any notifications, just having it there visible reduces your cognitive function. I feel like whenever my phone is in my line of sight, I feel my eyes and my attention drawn to it. So whenever I'm working, I always put my phone behind my laptop screen. Obviously, I know that it is there, but just having it out of sight makes such a big difference for how I can focus. And that is the last little tip that I will give you in this video. I love my phone. I do find it very useful, but sometimes I also hate it. Thank you again to Day One for sponsoring this video. Go get that special 2-month free trial of Day One Premium by going to dayoneapp.com/blissbean, and I will see you in an unspecified amount of time with a new video. Thank you for watching. Bye!